Recently on the Wayspotters podcast, you heard my dad say...
While it's not 100% Wayfarer related, it is 100% Wayfarer adjacent. In the Niantic Wayfarer system, low-quality nominations are considered especially heinous. Around the world, these dedicated explorers who review these nominations are part of an elite squad known as the Wayspotters podcast. These are their stories. Hello, agents, trainers, keepers, pilots, eighth-wallers, scouts, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode number 193 of the Wayspotters podcast. Here at Wayspotters, we want to do everything we can to help you become a better wayfinder. As we've always said, we want to educate, entertain, and excite. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokémon Professor Network and our friends at Pickaxe. And today is Thursday, September the 25th, 2025. I am Jamal, and I'm here with Chris. What's going on, my guy?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I recognize that shirt.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah, that's a good shirt. Yep. Man, I'm doing good today. It's a Thursday. We're getting into our new routine. It's going pretty good. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Anything new with you?
No, Jackson's doing his lacrosse stuff. Amelia's doing her choir stuff, and work is work. Same stuff, basically the same stuff every day. Nice.
So are you? So is Jackson's lacrosse stuff just on the weekends, or is it during the week now also?
He's got a training sessions Wednesdays and Fridays, and then he plays Sundays.
Okay. So you have
I was joking with my wife because I have all the stuff for the games on Saturday, like a bunch of equipment. I'm like, there's more lacrosse stuff in our car right now than you can fit people. So it's just like the back seat's full.
Right.
The trunk is full.
Well, luckily for your daughter, you've already done the unloading for the choir stuff, so you don't have to worry about doing that again.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump right into the news.
And now, the latest Niantic spatial and Scopely news from the Wayspotters podcast, presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
All right, Emily is back, finally back. And not a moment too soon, because I've been doing reviews lately and they've been bad. It's still bad. The Wayfarer team has confirmed that the finals has been applied and is working as intended. Both photo auto resolutions and nomination auto rejections are back. Any submissions made during the downtime will continue to go through regular community voting process, and anything submitted after Tuesday of this week will be subject to an Emily auto decision. So welcome back, Emily. I have cookies for you at GoFest. And cookies, as of recording on Thursday, September 25th, Recon is still not active. I hadn't mentioned that in a while, so just to kind of keep people updated, it's still not active.
Hey man, they said end of the year, and like I said a couple of shows ago, we're running out of end of the year. We're literally days away from Q4.
Yep, and someone at Niantic Spatial is doing reviews, because I got an acceptance email from something I submitted on August 10th. So
really,
they are doing reviews, and apparently they're on or about August 10th.
Okay.
So
I'm going to have to go back and look.
You will.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and look, because I remember in the beginning I was doing the double nominations until I decided it sucked and I stopped. So I'm going to have to go back and check. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Once Recon drops, we'll do a show with some tips and tricks and suggestions on how to do both, because I know a lot of people are going to want to do both, and I think that it's incumbent on us to kind of help those people. But like, I can't see my contribution list, so I don't remember what I've done.
Right. That's why I'm going to have to go back and look at my email.
Right.
Because the email you get from Rika, that's the only way I'm going to know.
Yeah, like I'm toying with the idea if this is going to take much longer, of like going through my email and creating a spreadsheet again,
Oh
like I did before.
not the spreadsheet. Oh no, not the
It's already
spreadsheet.
set up. I wouldn't have to create another one. I could just delete everything that's in there and put all the recon stuff in there. But like, that's a lot of work.
Oh man. All right, you ready to jump into topic number 1?
I am, yes.
All right, let's jump right into, let's put up the screen that you guys are seeing. Topic number 1.
Get ready for topic number 1.
So for topic number 1, Chris, I really tried to get like intellectual for this episode. I wanted to like jump into not like deep things, but like deeper than the like, don't put something on private property and don't use a third-party photo. I wanted to kind of get into some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that maybe doesn't get talked about every day on the forum or on the WDD or in our Discord. Kind of the economics of waste spots and like who really benefits. Something that I've been working on for a while. But we've had so much news going on, and I'm like, you know what? This is going to end up being like Chris's supporting information episode that got bumped 35 times. If I don't do it now, something else is going to drop and we're never going to get to it. So I want to talk about a couple things. So like crowdsource power, AR and big business, the value gap, and go over like a big question. But the first thing I want to talk to is how Niantic / Scopely turns millions of player submissions into a geolocation database. And this is kind of your thing. So you're the map guy. Like, overall, do you think the way that Niantic is doing things now is better than the way they did it with OPR?
Better? No. I think they have a vastly larger user base, so they're definitely getting more information. I think probably from their perspective, no data is bad data.
Right.
Right. So like a lot of it's stuff they can't use.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything that's on private property, like little free libraries on private property. I'm actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't necessarily care about things that are on private property, right? Like if they had a map of all of the little free libraries, I don't think that they would necessarily care, right? I think that had more to do with the lawsuit than anything. I mean, I think they've gotten better at weeding out the stuff that they don't necessarily want, and they've got better at enforcing the rules that they've put in. I don't necessarily know that now, like OPR versus the Pogo crowd coming in is necessarily increased their quality level.
Right. And also one of the things that I want to talk about is, I've said this for a while. I think anybody who knows me knows that I've said, I think they've kind of backed themselves into a corner with some of their decisions.
Right.
And it's kind of like, if you play poker, they're pot committed on some things, they're like super in and they can't go back and make a change. It's almost like if you're in an argument with your spouse or something and you're like, man, I know I'm wrong, but there's just no way out. So I just got to keep going, and going and going. But I think honestly, they've backed themselves into a corner with some of their decisions. Which is why I've been a big proponent of, hey, this is a new company. Why don't we reevaluate the criteria and take a look at some things? And, I'm the crazy guy. I want everything in, but, let's take a common sense approach to it. But the next thing on the list, Chris, is AR and big business. Waste spots are the backbone for future industries. We know that. Even with Niantic's split from Scopely, Niantic was making this ultra map that other video game developers would be able to buy and use these points of interest. Like, like we've talked about a couple of different games that use that. Now, while Scopely may or may not be looking at that in the future, AR navigation, is that still going to be a thing with Scopely? Like we don't know. Like, A Realm use the Niantic database and they've launched their games based off of the POI. We don't know if Scopely's still going to do that, but like things like smart cities and tourism and retail, I would love to know your opinion on, can Scopely leverage this during GoFest, like structured routes? Like, for example, remember when we were at the Airbnb in Jersey a couple years ago? What about a route that took you from the train station in Jersey to the park, or from Midtown Manhattan there would be specialized routes that would take you to Randall's Island or to Liberty State Park. I mean, imagine how cool that would be if there was like a pre-existing route with sponsors. So you're in New York City and you're, I don't know, Joe's Pizza Shop. And Niantic contacts you and says, we can make you a featured stop on this route. And, 10,000 Pokemon Go players are going to walk by your location and they have to stop and check in. And out of those 10,000, you're inevitably going to get some people that are going to come in and get pizza.
That's a solid idea. Can you, like, I was just thinking about, how we do that walk, our podcast group does that walk every year.
Yeah, the walkthrough. Yeah.
Being a route would be amazing.
Yes.
They're like, hey, here's, from the park to this other major attraction, major area in wherever they're doing Go Fest, because they're doing one in Europe and then one in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And then, have sponsored stops across.
Right.
And say, hey, go here and spin this stop and you'll get 10% off your lunch or whatever.
Yes. Or imagine like,
the route.
Yeah, you're on the route. So it's a featured point of interest. Let's just keep it Wayfarer, not go too far into Pokemon Go, but you're leaving the park. And then all of a sudden your park time is over and the map turns off, and that map turns off and it's just blank and it's like, whoa. But all of a sudden these routes light up, right? And so you see these featured way spots and you have to go and you've got to AR scan Joe's Pizzeria, and then a coupon pops up, and then there's another one down the road for a coffee shop, but you're using these POIs in the real world, and then you're going to get 50,000 scans, or how many ever scans you're going to get. Now you're inevitably going to get the background and all this other stuff, so now you're mapping it again. Don't know what Scopely's vision is for the map and all of that, but that would be one way where they could monetize the POIs to help further build the game. And if I'm Joe's Pizzeria and I'm, a kilometer and a half from the park, I'm like, sure, I'll spend the $1,200, $1,500, whatever it costs to be featured, because people are going to be hungry after their play day. They're going to want to eat and drink, so I'm just kind of an idea, but I would love to see some structured routes using featured POIs, and it enables Scopely to monetize those. And in a GoFest city, there's going to be people that know, hey, there's 50,000 Pokemon nerds, myself included, going to be there. They're going to eat, drink, and want to be merry. Why would I not want to be a featured official stop along the route? Just one of the things that I think that if Scopely is listening, ways that they can monetize the game without having to charge the players microtransactions, but be able to, use the law of large numbers of people that are walking by this place. Because think about all the places we walked by in New York and didn't stop. And if that was a featured place, we would have stopped. I guarantee you, we would have stopped if that was an officially featured place. We would have stopped and supported them.
Yep, 100%. And like, you have a group as large as we did.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of our people. Can
Right.
you imagine Scopely saying, hey guys, this is official. Go from here, walk this path, end up here. And you can say it all the businesses there. And you can even say, hey, people who live in that city, here's a little mini challenge. Walk this route, see if you can find things to nominate.
Yeah.
Right? And then we'll prioritize those in the queue so that they get voted on. Or maybe Scopely says, hey, the Wayfarer team says, hey, if you're in this geolocated block of a path and you nominate something in the next month, we're going to review it personally.
Yes.
Make sure that it goes through quickly so that it's ready. Yes. So then now you can say, now we've launched this route. Now there's all these stops that are there anyway.
Yes.
And you can include them on your, and it would include kind of Wayfarer in that whole process.
Absolutely. Increased chance of contacting a Galarian bird on the route at the official stop. I mean, they could like, but it would be a way that you could feature it, or I don't know. There's lots of things we can dive into, but I'm going to get into the next one. So this one, the value gap. So Niantic Scopely profits from partnerships and data, like we were just talking about, while contributors provide free labor with little recognition. Now, You and I, we have a podcast, right? We generate our own personal recognition, and the people that are in our Discord, we find ways to recognize them. How do you close that gap between the people that go on Reddit, and it's mainly Reddit, that go on Reddit and say, we're just free labor, they're taking advantage of us. Obviously, there's a problem there. They're looking for something. What would be an idea of recognition? Because we've talked about the economy of upgrades is not it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know the last time I've checked to see. I've got 19 upgrades. I've never had 19 upgrades. So I think the economy, since we're on that, the value gap is there. No one really is working for anything right now. I don't think the majority of Wayfinders are working for upgrades right now. I don't know what they're working for. And I'd love to see Niantic / Scopely figure out how to manage this economy, because they're benefiting from this, but us reviewers, we're just doing it on pride right now. I want to see what your thoughts are.
Hold on, I'm trying to look up to see how we're doing free argument complaint always makes me laugh, because like you knew that when you signed up.
Absolutely.
Like,
so
it's not like we're going to give you a bunch of stuff if you do this, come and sign up, and then all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, about that, and they run away. But you knew this. Like, why are you all of a sudden mad about it? Because all of a sudden you've done all this free labor, and then now you realize that you're not getting anything. Come on now, it just makes me chuckle. I think 155 upgrades.
100, yeah. There you go. You don't need upgrades. I think people in this day and age get mad when corporations make money. And that's a whole nother political debate that we don't need to get into. But I think when a corporation makes money, people get mad. But I don't know. I just think they do. And I think,
especially when that company makes billions.
Yes. Like
I get it.
Fun fact, I have never owned a pair of athletic shoes that were not Nike. Fun fact.
Interesting.
Since I was like as far back as I can remember, I grew up in Portland. Nike was Portland, so everybody was loyal to Portland. Now Adidas has moved in, but that's neither here nor there. I've never owned a athletic pair of shoes that was a Nike, but I don't get mad when Nike makes money. I pay them, right?
Yes.
But people get mad when Niantic makes money. They physically, like, they get a visceral reaction when Niantic makes money, and I don't get it. Like, I've gotten almost 10 years of joy. I've met you, I've met Ken, I've met Adam, I've met Hitch, I've met all these people, Justin, Raber. I shouldn't have started naming people because I'm going to leave people out. But I've met all these wonderful people in my life who I consider friends and brothers and sisters through this game. So great, they make a little bit of money or they make a lot of money. I don't care. But that's me. But some people really get upset about it. But there is that vocal minority out there, or maybe it's a majority, I don't know. But how would you advise Niantic Scopely on how to bridge that gap to give something back to the reviewer or the nominator that's not an upgrade?
So I had this idea the other day, and I was saving it for this. I think that Wayfarer should come out with their own battle pass. I think I've actually talked about this before. I think because Pogo has their own version of a battle pass now.
Right.
You do certain things, you get points. Those points get you rewards. The more rewards that you get, the better they are. You progress through the tiers. You can buy your premium pass. This month, September, I think they give you an extra egg incubator, which has been amazing. I'm going to be very sad if it goes away next month. I think Wayfarer should do the same thing. You do a certain number of reviews, you get 15 points. You do a couple of edits, you get 10 points. You do a nomination, you get 20 points. And then you get rewards in whatever one of their games that you select. They say, I want to earn rewards in Monster Hunter now. I want to earn rewards in Pogo. I want to earn rewards in Pikmin Bloom. And you can say, maybe the battle pass is kind of on the Wayfarer thing, and every level you get a reward for every game. Maybe they make you choose one. You say, okay, I want to choose the Pogo reward for this level. I want to choose the Pikmin Bloom reward for this level. Maybe you get rewards in every. I don't know how that would work, but I think some sort of battle pass would encourage more people to participate.
And there's a precedent for that with the Wayfarer challenge. We would get benefits in certain games for doing things in Wayfarer. So that's not a foreign idea. It's something that has already happened. I like that.
Yep. I think you would have difficulty getting the Pikmin Bloom and Monster Hunter Team Now groups on board because they don't do map syncs.
Right.
But I mean, I think if you sell it to the Pogo team saying, hey, this is going to help build out your map and build out your game board.
Yeah.
I think that it's worth kind of throwing, and like it doesn't have to be a lot. Like the rewards that you get from the pass in Pogo are not fantastic. Like some of the premium stuff is pretty good. Like I got a ton of Pokeballs this month, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm almost at the end of it actually. So like at the end, they just give you Stardust for every level once you're past level 100. But
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't have to be big rewards.
It could be an encounter with a with the legendary. Well, maybe not. No, they wouldn't give it, but you know what I mean. It could be an encounter with a gimme goal or something.
Yeah, like this one's got. I want to open it right now, but like it's got encounters all through it. And you get candies for Pokemon and like Stardust, and they could do that for Monster Hunter now. You get like the stuff that you get to make weapons that people always give me crap for not doing.
And it might spur some people to play that game if they know they can get rewards to get started.
Right. Like if I am so far behind in Monster Hunter now. I'm at the point now. I'm just like I don't even know. Like I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. Right. Like if I had a way to earn some maybe premium weapon materials, maybe I'd get back into it. Right.
Carving knives or whatever.
I don't even know what that is anymore. I just think that giving people in-game tangible, and I know that's not really tangible, but
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, about as tangible as we're going to get in this situation.
Right, exactly. Would encourage people to kind of participate, and it would get a lot of people who are out there anyway nominating and editing, and I think if you put more points on reviewing versus editing and nominating, I think that would kind of benefit the system more than having more people nominate and edit, right? So you would kind of have to put an emphasis on reviewing to balance out what is going to happen.
Yep.
I just think it's
I like it. All right. So the big question, here's the big question. Are wayfinders shaping the future of AR or being exploited as unpaid data workers? I love it. I don't mind being a pawn on the chessboard. Do you? Now, this question is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and it's more of a facetious question, but I got into a disagreement or argument or whatever with someone on Reddit about this a while back. So I thought, you know what? Let me throw it out to Chris. Let me throw it out to everybody. So are wayfinders shaping the future of AR, or are they being exploited as unpaid data workers?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the contributions that the Wayfinders are making towards the future of AR, like with our scans and stuff, is a drop in the bucket. Mm-hmm. That we are being used to test features and provide proof of concept, and the real AR data work is being done by people with PhDs and degrees from universities and stuff. Right.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's all going to be done with like 4K cameras on a Google car.
Gotcha. I have an example. Or a for instance, we are chopping down the trees and kind of getting the bark and stuff off as the workers. We're sending it to the factories where the craftsmen are carving it out and making the statues. So those are the PhDs and the MBAs, and we're out in the field kind of just chopping the trees down. They're not getting their hands dirty. We're giving them the raw material, and they're making the sculptures or whatever it is. Would that be a good example?
Yes. Yeah. I think a very apt quote here is Isaac Newton. He says, "If I can see far, it's because I stood on the shoulders of giants." So we are the giants that they will stand on.
Yep.
But like, the work that we're doing is not going to transform the AR landscape even in the slightest.
Yes. Right.
Right.
Yep.
And
exactly.
I honestly don't care.
Me
right?
neither. That's why I
don't
said I love it.
mind-
I don't care.
I don't mind being the pawn on the chessboard.
Right.
I think maybe I would upgrade myself to like a rook or something,
Yes.
something
I
on
was
the
gonna
back
say-
line. Like
Yeah.
I'm not the king. I know I'm not the king. Right. Maybe I'm a bishop.
Yeah.
I like running in
right.
straight lines. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just I don't care. I honestly don't care. Like I
With
do
you.
this because I enjoy it. I go
Right.
I do 100 reviews a day, 50 reviews a day because I enjoy it. We do a podcast because we enjoy it.
Exactly.
I find this fun. It gives me enjoyment. And
Yes.
when other people are just like, "Oh, I can't believe, you guys are doing free labor, blah blah blah, rah rah rah." I don't care. Like,
Right.
do you do your hobbies because you get paid for them? No, you do them because you enjoy them.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
maybe go sit down.
Like guys that work on cars, they spend more money on parts, and sometimes they don't drive the car for a year, but they
Right.
they work on it every single weekend. So, yeah, man, I agree with you. I just wanted to address this because there was a couple people on Reddit over time that said you never talk about this, you're afraid to call it out, and I'm like, hey, Niantic makes money, Scopely makes money. I'm not afraid of it, but you know what?
Yeah.
Since you challenge me, Chris and I will talk about it. So there you go. No, I'm not even going to give him or her username. You know who you are.
I think,
all right.
honestly, it's funny when people are just like, "Oh, you're afraid to talk about." No, really? Have you not listened to our show in the past?
Right.
We're not afraid to
Right.
smack Niantic or Scopely at the head when they're not doing right.
Exactly.
Come on now.
Yep. All right. Let's jump into topic number 2.
This is Sarah Amanda. Don't forget about topic number 2.
All right. So topic number 2, kind of stick it on this kind of like behind Wayfarer, not just like nominating and reviewing, is Wayfarer and accessibility. Who gets left behind? So this one has a bunch of different tentacles, Chris, and there's been some argument and some discussion on this and whether Wayfarer, Ingress, Pogo, all these games are accessible to all people. Were they designed to be? Should they be? Should there be an expectation that everything they do is going to be inclusive for everybody? So the first one is there's a couple different accessibilities here that I wanted to talk about. Because when I think of accessibility, I think about like physical accessibility. But the first one I want to talk about is the old debate, the urban versus rural, why cities overflow with waste spots and why rural areas struggle for representation. So I'll start this off. This is one of those that people on one side of the aisle say, this game is not meant to be played by everybody. If you live in a city, you're going to be blessed with more waste spots because you have more things to nominate. And if you're in a rural area, it's a real world game. It's a live service game. And if you don't have a statue or a gazebo or something, then you're kind of out of luck. Rural players say, hey, you need to bend the criteria so I can play. And some people say, you know what? The game is meant to be played by things that are actually in the real world. So if you don't have anything in the real world, sorry about your luck. So that's how I kind of see the urban versus rural debate. I think I personally, I'll wait and give my side after you talk, but go ahead.
So here's my take on this. The rural problem with Wayfarer isn't a problem with Wayfarer. It's a problem with Pokemon Go. That is a problem for Pokemon Go to solve.
Okay.
If they want to go and create stops in low density areas, that's on them. Right. Wayfarer is game agnostic. It doesn't care about, people hate it when I say this. People hate it when I say this. I don't care about Pokemon Go. As a Wayfarer, I don't care about Pokemon Go. I don't care about Monster Hunter Now. I don't care about Pikmin Bloom. I don't care about any other game that Scopely creates in the future, whether they come back to Transformers or G.I. Joe or whatever. I don't care about those games. I do Wayfarer to do Wayfarer. Wayfarer does not care about those games.
True.
The fact that you live in the middle of nowhere, Ontario, and you have a restaurant and a stop sign and a playground, and that's it, is not Wayfarer's problem. That is, I will fully recognize that is an issue in Pokemon Go. And I honestly hope smarter people than me can have a solution to it, but that is a problem for the Pokemon Go team to solve themselves. And I think that they're trying to with power spots, and they're trying to. I don't like the way that they're doing it, but that's on the Pogo team, right? And I think that we need to keep that divide, because if we start to blur that line, then you start causing issues for Wayfarer. I was talking to Aquablast about this, and I started getting worked up again because of the way that they launched the power spots at first, with absolutely zero editing and zero quality control. They were just like, hey guys, look at all the stuff I got at a thrift shop, and they dumped it on the map. Like, my wife had just spent 4 hours at the Value Village down the street and was like, look at all this stuff I bought. I'm like, did you even look at some of this stuff? Did you look through it? Right? No. And and because what happens is people see stuff on the map and they're just like, oh, look, that's eligible. But it's not, sir, ma'am. Right. It's not eligible. So I think that I fully recognize that rural gameplay is a problem, but that's the key. It's rural gameplay.
Right.
Rural
it's
gameplay.
Not Wayfarer. It's Pokemon.
It's not Wayfarer.
Yep.
Yes. And you will hate it when I say that.
No, but I think you're being honest. I think you're being authentic to your position. I've said I think they need to massage the criteria, but I'm not a big fan of just putting things in a place where there's nothing there. I think there's value in the real world game, although I might want to see the cells be a little smaller so you get more things on the map. But then again, that is a Pokemon Go thing. That's not a Wayfarer thing. Wayfarer doesn't care what cell it's in. It's going to show up on, I don't even know what we're calling. It's not the light chip map anymore. There's a map with all the Wayspots on it somewhere. We don't know where it is and we don't know what it's called, but it exists. It has to exist. Yep. So that's where I kind of come down on that. I like your position. I like the way you phrased it. I think I'm going to adopt that because what you said, I 100% believe in. This is a Scopely problem with their end user games, not the begin user with putting it on the, I'm just going to call it the light chip map until they tell us what to call it.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool, yeah.
The second accessibility issue I want to discuss is the gaps. So do nominations often get overlooked, like wheelchair access and inclusive design. Should this matter? I honestly don't know what I think about this, but do you think that there are accessibility gaps when it comes to people who have disabilities, can't walk in a wheelchair, things like that, when it comes to Wayfarer? Again, given your first point, this might be a Pokemon Go issue, but when it comes to Wayfarer, do you think there's a gap there?
I don't. I mean, I think that there are any issues, any gaps that are there are a real world problem. That's not even a Scopely problem. It's kind of an infrastructure problem.
Okay,
right?
That's
like
fair.
If
fair.
You can't access something because there's no wheelchair access, that's a problem for the company or the building manager or that's
right.
And there are, I've seen plenty of spots and stuff that are not wheelchair accessible, and it's getting a lot better in Canada because Canada passed a law that says your business has to be wheelchair accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Like flat, just that's it.
Yeah.
You have to be wheelchair accessible, and a lot of companies kind of fought back on it, and then a lot of the Canadian people were like, "Why are you fighting this?
Yeah, right.
What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And the companies were like, "Oh, yeah, no, you're right." So
yeah.
It's not necessarily a huge issue here, but any issues that do exist, I think, is kind of way outside of the Wayfarer teams and Scopely's.
Yeah.
I hate to use the word scope, but
no, I got you. Yeah,
it is what it is.
Boom, boom. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Because in the States we have the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah.
So I would assume the Canadian law is probably similar-ish,
Yep.
and I'm not sure about Europe. Europe is interesting because stuff over there was built like 500 years ago. And it's so tight together that I don't know logistically how they can do it. I'm sure they can, but I don't know how that works. But when I wrote this, I wasn't thinking about this being specifically a Pokemon Go problem. I was thinking it through the Wayfarer lens, but now that you said that, it's a real world game, and if I nominate a marina and this part of the boat ramp doesn't have a wheelchair access, that's not Wayfarer's problem.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the game and the real world, it's their problem. Okay, so I got that. Yeah. All right.
And I would encourage anybody who's out there, if they come across something that they feel is in violation of the ADA, or in Canada, I don't even know what the law's called, but like, if you think something is inaccessible, say something. Right? Go into the business and say, hey, have you guys considered putting a wheelchair ramp here? Or putting a boardwalk down there, or doing, yada yada. Start the conversation. You don't have to be in a wheelchair to kind of advocate for the people who are. And I get they can advocate for themselves, but like, if they've never noticed it or nobody said something, maybe you could at least start that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And finally, not finally, cultural and language barriers. So challenges. So non-English speakers and diverse communities. What challenges do non-English speakers and diverse communities face when contributing? So the forum has a fix for this, where you can type in your own language and then we can, translate it. But if you get a nomination in French, Chris, do you look at it differently than a nomination in English, given that you live in Canada?
I try not to. Here's the thing. Those translating apps are only as good as translating apps are, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Like, if somebody on the forum made a post, this is perfect. I read it yesterday. And they translated it from Italian to English, or they were typing in English, but Italian was their first language. And Cindy responded, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my English isn't very good. I'm Italian, and there's far more words in Italian to describe things than there is in English." So he's like, "I'm kind of limited by English's ability to express myself."
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I thought you did fine." But that brings up a good point. Like, sometimes if you click that button and I'm reading it and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. Does it not make sense in French?
Right. Yes.
Or is it just
exactly.
Google Translates doesn't know how to convert the expressiveness of a European language to English?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh yeah. No, I know exactly. I mean, if you think about like, and I grew up in the Northwest, so if you think about the word rain, like you say rain, and we all know what you mean, but then there's like drizzle, and there's downpour, and there's showers, and there's like 19 words that describe rain. So if you say it's raining, or if I say, "Hey Chris, let's go," is it raining outside? Oh, it's drizzling, or it's misty. Those mean different things than if I just say it's raining. Heavy showers, right? If I say it's heavy showers outside, you're going to get an umbrella and a hoodie. But if I say it's sprinkling, that means something different. But it's all rain, right?
Yeah.
So, when you translate that from Italian to English, if you say rain, if you say sprinkle or showers, it means something completely different and changes the connotation of it. So I get it. And like you said, those apps are only as good as it is. But I noticed this. The reason why I wanted to talk about this one was because of the last couple of Wayfair challenges. I really just relied on the picture, because some of the things when I translated it, I kind of understood it, but I didn't at the same time. So I just went off of the picture. But, and I didn't know specifically for the French nominations up there, how the translation is, and does it make sense? Does it translate well to English? But being that Niantic is a U.S. company based in San Francisco, here's the thing, given the fact that Niantic is a U.S. company with such a worldwide audience, they are very West Coast centric. Have you noticed that?
Mm,
Like almost to a
yes.
fault. Like they do not like. I've changed some things in the way that we do things on the podcast. Like when I put out dates and times, I'll use GMT and I'll use the form that everybody in the world uses except for the US, the number of the day, the month, and then the year. So I've changed that because we've got a global audience, right? So I don't know if I know you've noticed, but I don't know if other people have noticed. I've kind of changed things and I'll try to refer to things in miles and kilometers. But Niantic is just straight up, we're Silicon Valley and they don't really bend a lot of things to a global audience. Um, and the fact that when you nominate, there's no spell checker is just wild to me. I think there should
Yeah.
be a spell checker
Yeah.
in every language and an easier way for us to decipher that. Because during those Wayfarer challenges, man, I struggled with especially with the Eastern European, the more Slavic languages, like I struggled.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I'm doing the reviews up here, I don't get a lot from Quebec. I get like 5% maybe. And I would say 9 times out of 10, it translates well enough that I can understand the gist of it. I just kind of chalk it up to language differences. Every once in a while, I kind of like, I have to send it to a buddy of mine who I know speaks French. And I'm like, does this make sense? And then he stopped asking me why. He just gives me yes or no answers now.
Yeah, it's
Because
like,
like
yes.
he used to get so confused. He was like, "What are you even doing?" Then I would explain
Right.
the whole process to him. And he's
Yeah.
like, "You know what? Just whatever." So every once in a while, I'll just kind of message him and be like, "I got another one for you." And he's like, "All right, let me." Goes, "Hit me." So it's not so bad. But I'd say 99% of the time, it's just the translating app goofing.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? And then it's funny because like he'll go into because he's a language guy.
Hmm.
He'll go into sometimes he'll go on long rants about why it translated it wrong and this is the syntax and this is the way
Yeah.
this is grammar. I'm like, I don't want your
Yeah.
life story. I just want a yes or no.
Yeah.
But I let him do it because he's helping me out.
Yeah.
So
Is it a gazebo or not? Yeah.
it's exactly. Yeah.
I had a big question for this one, an equity question, but I think we've already answered it. So my question, the way I wrote it in the notes was, is Wayfarer truly for everyone, or does it reinforce existing divides? And I think Wayfarer is for everybody. I think the existing divides come down to the individual games. Because if I can see it and I can touch it, I can take a picture of it and I can nominate it.
Yep.
Whether or not the game I want to have it included takes it or not is up to them. So I think Wayfarer's for everybody.
Yep. I completely agree.
Yep. Okay, good. All right, let's move on to we've got a listener email from Lemerico Fox Peterson that we bumped from a couple of weeks ago. So this is a pretty good email. So Chris, I'll go ahead and I'll read this. It says, "Hey, Chris and Jamal, 2 weeks ago you mentioned the idea of having a contest for a slogan shirt that both of you would wear at GoFest. And an idea came to me that I think would be a great idea exactly for that. Okay, so on the reviewing page, there's a panel with the Google map where you can mark duplicate way spots. And the icon is orange, is an orange map pointer with a white circle outlined in orange beneath that gets filled with orange on click, and the dialogue mark as duplicate, as I'm doing the quote sign, pops up to confirm your choice. Got that in your mind? Got that, Chris? I'm picturing it. Okay, now imagine a dark heather gray tri-blend t-shirt, very descriptive there, because black is hot and GoFest, I think, is when it's hot outside. Editorializing, which says in white screen print in the font, mark as duplicate across the front. And then just that orange map icon with the white circle filled with orange beneath. It could work with 2 lines of text or 1, depending on what looks best. But that's it. What makes this GoFest idea fly is the shirt becomes funnier if 2 or more people are wearing it while together at the same place and time. Like you both go to GoFest wearing a shirt that says Marcus Duplicate question mark while physically together. Now imagine 10 or 100 people wearing it while all playing the games together, and there's a really solid entry to talking about Pokemon Go and the Pokemon Professor Network and selling the shirt to people who want to take part in the fun. No pressure to take the idea or even read this on the air. I just know it's a good spectacle that seems spontaneous, and the design often seems inoffensive and interesting enough to be worn outside of the event. May Guzzlord grant you 2-story murals and permanent education, urban garden sculptures, and historical plaques. Limerico Fox Peterson, #1 Guzzlord enthusiast in the Portland regional area. I love that.
That's fantastic. That's a great idea for a shirt. I read that and I'm like, that's funny. That is
so funny. Yeah. And it's Wayfarer related, and it's Pokemon Go adjacent. I think it's good. We might have to workshop this and take this into the lab and see if we can do something with it. So, yeah. But thank you very much, and we'll talk a little bit later on how you can get your email read on the show. So, Chris, I think you have a comment from YouTube you want to read.
I do. I actually got a couple of things that I want to read.
Okay.
One. Derek19944 commented on the last YouTube video, more videos please, with like 6 exclamation marks. You guys helped me create 40 new Pokéstops in my area and 16 new gyms. Thanks again for all you do. It's impact my community a lot. That's fantastic.
It's amazing.
Nice work, Derek. We really appreciate the comment.
That is amazing.
Keep it up. That is amazing. We are back on YouTube.
Yes.
I'm working on getting a regular upload schedule. This last week's episode is going to go up tonight. And then going forward, I've got a plan to have them up Mondays regularly. So they'll be back to
and we'll have shorts, because I'm working on creating shorts while I'm editing. So we'll have at least 2 shorts, a short with Chris and a short with myself. That'll be guaranteed. That'll go out on Twitter and all these other platforms, and probably YouTube shorts also. So that's guaranteed. There will be at least 2 shorts.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And last week's title, I put a challenge out there to anybody who could figure out the connection between the 2 titles. Andy502 said on Discord, so I got to admit I didn't go through the titles of previous episodes, but I'm assuming the answer to Chris's question is something to do with paving paradise and putting up parking lots. If I'm wrong, at least I'm suggesting a good tale from Canada. You got it. I think it was episode 103 was put up a parking lot. And then last week's episode was Paved Paradise, and they are both lines from the same song, which I completely did by accident. But then
I love it.
I was humming it in my head throughout the day after I had come up with it. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I used the first half of that stanza in the title for something like that. I'm pretty sure it was episode 103.
You sure did.
Nailed it.
All right, we're going to go to Tales. We're almost Tales from Canada. We're going to go to One's Gotta Go. This one is super evil. Okay, so let's go ahead and play the jingle for One's Gotta Go.
One's gotta go. One gotta go. One gotta go, y'all. One gotta go. Wait, one gotta go? Yeah, this one gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One gotta go. 4 items to be on the list, but one gotta go.
I sent this to Chris the other day, and he sent me back a GIF. All right, this is awesome. All right, so you guys have got to go to YouTube, or if you're a Spotify listener, you can watch the podcast on Spotify right on your phone through the Spotify app. And if you're a Google or Pocket Cast, we need to talk about this next week, Chris, or in 2 weeks. With our updated analytics, there's a lot of people that are like listening to the show through apps that I didn't even know about that you could listen to podcasts on. Maybe I'll have a list next time. Anyhow, you got to go and see this one. So you guys know how this works. This is One's Gotta Go Wayfarer nominations. In the upper left-hand corner is murals. In the upper right-hand corner is playgrounds. In the lower left-hand corner is trail markers. And in the lower right-hand corner is pavilions/gazebos. One of these categories, Chris, has to go. What say you?
Think that this is kind of like the equivalent of telling a parent that they need to pick their favorite child. This is mean. and you don't do it. So you know what, sir? I refuse to No, I'm not. Okay. Murals, I think, is obviously and quite clearly number one for us. We
Right.
love ourselves some giant murals. So murals has to stay. Gazebos are kind of one of those universal things, and a lot of them are like big and decorative, and sometimes you have ones that are empty that rural communities have to do their little plays and stuff in. So that's got to stay. Playgrounds are another one. They're everywhere. They're easy to see. They're easy to kind of prove that they're there. It's a great place to pull off some steam, kind of get some exercise, socialize with other kids. I think they're great. So for me, it's trail markers, and simply because that's, I think, the one that's most difficult to really prove that they exist, because a lot of times trail markers are in forests, and forests don't have satellite, and
Right.
there's
Okay,
not
fair.
necessarily a whole lot on this path through this forest that you can use as a background to kind of anchor yourself and say, hey, you can see this in the background, it's already on the map. So I think simply because trail markers are the hardest of the four to get through, for me, that's the one that has to go.
Yeah, I see that and I understand that. Now mine is going to differ a little bit. So I'll start off with the one that you wanted to go, and I'll say it has to stay. So one of the biggest tenets of Niantic is get out and go, get out and play, Pokemon Go. Get out and I think trail markers direct people to areas that are probably off the beaten path for most people. I'll say this: I've discovered some trails playing these games in the last 10 years that I never would have been on if I wasn't trying to follow the trail. You know what I mean? Like I want to spin this halo. There's stuff down there. I'm looking for POIs. I would have never been on some of these greenways in Charlotte had it not been for the game. And these trail markers are ones that I've really enjoyed nominating, because there's almost one in every cell. If we want to talk about S2 cells, because, they're every quarter mile or they're every kilometer, depending on how your municipality marks them. So that one's got to stay for me. Murals, but they're also the ones that are the most abused, because is there a trail marker here, like you said? I don't know. Probably. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, because if you're on a trail, there's probably a trail marker there. Is it here, or is it 5 meters over there? I don't know. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And some people don't like that and they get upset by it. Or some people say there's one every kilometer, so they're not unique, so we got to have them go. I like them. All right. Murals. We love a 2-story mural. That's just case in point. We don't even need to discuss that. Gazebo/pavilions. What a better place. There's no really better place to gather with a lot of people and be social. My park in Charlotte on Wednesdays, there's a gazebo that looks very similar to that, and that's where we do raids, and all the gyms are kind of circled around that. So whether it's rain or sun or whatever it is, or drizzle or showers, we can sit under the gazebo, under the cover, and we can do all of our stuff. So the one that's got to go for me in this, Chris, is playgrounds. And I'll tell you why. 8 through 12 is not accepted in the game, right? Now, most playgrounds are in parks, but if we want to keep people away from kids, that's why we don't allow K through 12. Who's playing on the playground besides kids? I'm not climbing up that thing and breaking an ankle, It's kids. And so that's why I would say playgrounds for me have to go, because the only people that it's going to be in that spot are kids and parents. I get it. But if you look at all the other options, it's not going to be a bunch of kids. So what's the difference between a playground on a school and a playground in a park? What do you think? What would you say the difference between a playground at an elementary school and a playground in a park?
Yeah, I mean, I can see your argument there. It's one of those things that's come up on the forums before, right? Like it's go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, because there was one that got removed in Charlotte that there was like, well, there's no path in between the school and the playground. If there was a path that divided it, then it's not on K through 12 property. But at the same time, it's the same kids, whether there's a path there or not, they're going to play on it. So I don't really see the difference.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes that I've seen stuff in my reviews. It's just kind of like, there's a park right beside the elementary school. It's like, where's that divide? And like in Canada, they're usually really, really good about building a fence, right?
Yeah,
and you can kind of see the fence, and that's the divide. But yeah, I mean, I can see the argument. There's if you're going out there and you're trying to take a picture of a playground, you really got to do it when there's no families around, because otherwise someone's gonna think you're a creep, right? So
or let's see, how do I say this? Some people may say, I am a volunteer with Google and I'm taking pictures to update the Google page. Can you move all your stinky kids off of the playground so I can take a couple pictures from a couple different angles? That may or may not have been done. So I'll just leave that at that.
I've used that argument before myself.
And with that, let's go to break. We'll play some dad jokes, and we'll come back on the other side with Wayspot of the Week and Cold Week.
Hey, this is Elle from Space, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
How's it going, listeners? This is Pokey AK. Thank you for watching the Wayspotters podcast.
Hi, this is Course Leo, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
You're joking. It's season 4. Enough already.
Why don't gravediggers ever get promoted? Because they keep getting stuck in a hole. So I quit my job at the coffee shop. It was just the same old grind. So I was at the library, and I asked the librarian if the library had books on paranoia. The librarian leaned in and whispered, "They're right behind you." Why don't electricians ever get shocked by bad news? Because they're already grounded. So I told my GPS a joke. Now it refuses to take me seriously. My neighbor claims he just doesn't trust stairs. Hey, I get it. They're always up to something, and sometimes they let you down. Why did the belt get arrested? Because he was holding up a pair of pants. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Wayspotters podcast, episode 193. You've got Jamal, you've got Chris, one of these, yeah. We're going to jump right into Wayspot of the Week.
Here is a beautiful example of a Wayspot of the Week, which may or may not be a 2-story mural.
Okay, Wayspot of the Week number 1 comes to us from Grandpa TP from the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon channel. So if you just listened to the last segment and we were talking about One's Gotta Go, this here has definitely got to stay. And it is, in fact, a 2-story mural. So Grandpa TP sent over this mural. It's called Colossal Taekwondo Mural. I'm not crazy about the description, Chris. The title's good, Colossal Taekwondo Mural, but the description is just mural. Like, it's almost like they used that as a placeholder and it went into voting before they got a chance to change it. But it's from San Antonio, Texas, and it's on the side of a 2-story, maybe 3-story brick building. And it's various things from the Taekwondo world. What you see is kind of the most prominent figure is a hand that's sticking up and there's a hole in the hand, and it's just a cool mural. There's different people on it, and there's some blue on the bottom, but it's a really cool mural. It looks like something that might have been a community project. I like it, and I'm guessing, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the building houses Taekwondo. It's going to go on the mural and say that. On a limb and
would assume that is correct. Yes, this is it's gorgeous. It's got a lot going on too. Yeah, and the fact that it's huge is probably, I think you're right, it's probably a community project.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at it. There's a basketball player on there and looks like maybe a judge. And there's a woman up top that's like flying through the air. And I was looking at it again. I don't really see anything Taekwondo-ish on there. So that's why I'm just assuming that it's Taekwondo for the building. So there it is. Waste Spot of the Week #1. So let's go jump right into Waste Spot of the... Oh, did you have something on this? Oh, wait, you...
I Google searched it.
Yes.
And it's done. It's at the address of San Anto Cultural Arts, a non-profit organization established in 1993 dedicated to fostering human and community development through its community-based arts. So this is very likely...
What a guess. That was just a guess I had.
Yeah.
But you don't see any Taekwondo tie-in, do you?
No. Let's see here.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Oh, and it's got a video. I'm not going to play the video, but yeah, it's there's a bunch of people there. Nonprofit. Yeah, it doesn't list, this article doesn't list who the actual artist is, so I think you're right. This is probably a project that was done by the community. Yeah.
Nice. Right on. Good detective work there, sir. Let's jump straight into Waste Spot of the Week #2.
Here is a beautiful example of a Waste Spot of the Week, which may or may not be a 2-story mural.
Pull up my notes. This is from Lasso Boss, and this is another, looks like, 2-story mural. I saw this one posted in our Discord, and I was like, ooh, that's got to be Waste Spot of the Week. This one's cool. It
that's
is
really cool.
A picture of a steel worker. So the title is Workshop Vibes. The description is fresh mural of a steel worker enjoying an honest day's work, and it's exactly that. It's a guy standing, blue jeans, green shirt, got the welding goggles on, and it looks like he's welding or grinding a piece of metal on a post. There's sparks flying everywhere.
It's cool. It's really cool.
It's cool. It is really cool. And they've kind of, the background of the mural is like a darker shade of the rest of the wall, so it kind of blends in really nice, while also being distinct. It's got a little bit of a black border too, but like this is just, it's a nice way to highlight kind of one of those industries that doesn't get a whole lot of love a lot,
right?
But is like crucially important to basically everything that ever gets built, right?
Yes,
like steel workers have their hands basically in everything. If it's built, you got steel workers there, right?
That's
and it's
right.
in Pittsburgh, which is the steel city. So this is just, that's fantastic. I love it.
I love it. All right, let's talk about something that we don't love, very educationally and very respectfully. Let's go to Coal of the Week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Oh no. Hey Jamal, I found some coal.
So Coal of the Week this week comes to us from Matty G. So Matty G is the show historian. You hear shout him out every single episode because he's awesome. But this nomination, Chris, is not awesome. So we just talked about K through 12. It's almost like we planned these shows out ahead of time. So Coal of the Week this week, I'll read you the title. Springfield High School. And the description. Best high school in Springfield, Ohio. I'm going to debate there might be some people that would bring that into question, but that's neither here nor there. It is a picture of a high school, and it's not even a good picture. Like, I would even give them bonus points if this was a good picture of the high school. So what you're looking at is the background the picture is mostly sky and mostly tree. The bottom, I don't even want to say lower fifth of the picture is a building that appears to be a high school. And most of it is the sky and a tree. And it's a high school. and there's just so much wrong with this. Like, if you showed me this nomination and asked me to tell you what they were nominating, I don't know if I'd be able to figure out what they were nominating.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. It's a terrible, terrible picture. It's a high school. You know how many high schools I've seen in my reviews in the past 2 weeks? Like 4.
Yeah.
4 high schools and probably a half dozen elementary schools. Elementary schools. People, what are we doing?
It's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Emily.
You got anything else, man?
I don't.
All right, let's go ahead and get you guys back out to your Sunday. And that's it. That's going to do it for this episode of Wayspotters. Now you know I can't end an episode without giving some love to the people who make this show possible. First, we want to thank our incredible executive producer, KatettheKonz, you rock. And a huge thank you to all of our amazing patrons. We love you. And of course, we have to give a special shout out to our show historian, Maddie G, for keeping the record straight since day one. And if you like what you heard today, there's a couple ways that you can stay connected with us. Number one, you can follow us on socials. We are on Twitter at Wayspotters, Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast, TikTok at I Make Wayspots, and Blue Sky at Wayspotters Podcast. We love interacting with all of you. Don't be shy. Come say hi. Number two, check out our website, our new and improved and updated website, wayspotters.com. From there, you can download episodes, you can send us a message, or you can shoot us an email at wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com, just like Limerico did. Number three, we've got a hotline, folks. That's right. You can call us 704-426-3710. Leave a voicemail. You might hear yourself on a future episode of the show. Or if you're feeling brave, you can tweet us a voice message directly from Twitter. Some of you, and hopefully most of you, are watching this on YouTube. And for those of you who are not, please visit our YouTube page, www.youtube.com/@WayspottersPodcast. And Chris, while the good people are there, what should they do?
Click like on this video. If you like this video, click subscribe, and also click the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video.
All right. Number 4. If you want to support the show, the best way to do it is by joining the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon. For as little as $1 US a month, you'll unlock access to our Discord, where you can hang out with fans and creators from all the shows across the network, special editions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, After Dark Cry, and Lord Up. And of course, your favorite, Wayspotters. It's a fantastic community, and we'd love to have you there. And finally, the simplest way you can help us grow is give us a rating on the app you're listening to or watching right now. 5 stars really helps the show, and if your podcatcher allows you to leave a review, do so, and one of us will read it right here on the show. That's all we've got for this week. Thank you so much for listening and being the best part of the Wayspotters family. We'll be back next week with more stories, more nominations, and more fun. And remember, what's a few meters between friends?